on being the change. Abject poverty, casual neglect, apathy, and institutionalized resistance. That's what faced four people: a male lady, Jody; Bob, a retired gentleman; Morning, a strong-willed woman; and myself, a retired architect turned visual artist, who all decided to find a way to change the very atmosphere of depression in one corner of Muskegon, Michigan. Nonconformists all, unwilling to color inside the lines, we asked, what can we do to help build some sense of community? What is it that we all share in common? The answer is food. We all need to eat. A garden could sustainably provide food and community. Love Community Garden, taking its name from Love Fellowship Baptist Church, who owned the property, had its humble beginnings based on that premise. The pastor agreed to allow us to have a garden on his church property, even though none of us are members of his church. In the early days, we planted in the ground, which was old landfill and buried bricks and building debris, made rototilling very slow and near impossible, but we prevailed. Application for a Healthy Communities grant to construct raised beds the next season resulted in 5 months of meetings, spreadsheets, lists dictating what we could and could not do. Faced with obstructive rules and conditions, and recognizing that the grant-writing mechanisms of the entrenched local agencies and associations were more of a hindrance than a help, we decided to opt out of the cycle in order to become part of the solution and not part of the problem. Opting out proved to be more difficult than it sounded. It created a barrage of threats, political posturing, even personal attacks. However, our tenacious Morning stood her ground, vocalizing our collective frustration. Get out of the way, she said, and insisting that we were a viable existing project before the grant, and we could not alter our course nor accept outside control unless all of the gardeners agreed. All of the time clutching her list of additional residents, she had spent the winter gathering by door-knocking to be part of the new grant-funded raised bed approach to gardening. It was imperative the garden continue as non-faith-based, never to be used for political gain, and be about people free of politics and rules set forth by agencies and associations that only tend to isolate and repel people instead of engaging and aiding them. Last but not least, we felt we needed to resist the official tendency to marginalize neighborhood people by labeling them. The temptation to use fashionable labels may seem nifty for writing a master's thesis or a grant application, but we view it as damaging and neither productive nor kind. In the end, we used some of the grant money, but we did it our way. Our burgeoning garden attracted support, and besides the pastor and the church congregation, we had Mike, a dynamic businessman and respected member of the Fruitport Lions, who, after witnessing Morning be more than a little vocal at a city commissioners meeting, introduced himself. Shortly thereafter, Mike embraced the garden and its intent, and with that came more ideas, followed by more people that wanted to be the change but never knew where to begin. Beds were built, fresh, healthy soil delivered, plants grew. The garden acquired a pump, and with a view toward sustainability, had a rainwater collection system designed and installed by a member who you'll hear more about later. The next season, Harvey Linenbottom, a radical rabbit, appeared, abducting the mascot toad from the local establishment, the Tipsy Toad Tavern, and held him for ransom. $1 gazillion, lettuce, candy, and some pansies, read the note. The proprietors of the Tipsy Toad held a fundraiser to rescue their beloved toad, and we had some cash again. Harvey has since mellowed and taken a more positive role, even with a Facebook page, and continues to be active in our efforts. We have sold potholders, worked festivals, flipping burgers and doing puppet shows, sold calendars, made crafts to sell at farmers markets, served pizzas, had concerts, sold popcorn, and by being out and active, we've established healthy relationships, creating a viable means for people from all walks of life, all ages, to grow and share healthy food in a fun and sociable atmosphere, and that's just the beginning of the change.
I'm an artist, it can't be helped. When I was 10, I decided to be an artist. I figured I could get away with more, and I was right. I also discovered that if I was an artist, I could do naughty things, and I would engender forgiveness from my parents. And that was very good because they were Protestants and needed practice. All right? When I turned 30, I left the Herman Miller Company. I was involved in product design, and I went to college for 7 years. I started in architecture, then landscape architecture. I combined those into an environmental design degree and went to the University of Wisconsin for landscape architecture. Got out of there, couldn't get a job. After 7 years, I couldn't get a job. So I got a table saw, and I started building furniture, and I did that for years. And I liked it. Then I moved to Muskegon. I bought a house here 15 years ago, 14 years ago. It's about 6 blocks from here. And I started working on the yard, met a few people in my neighborhood who were different than me. I was part of the intrigue. Got to know Morning Bear. I remember the day she came barreling down my driveway. We talked. She got me involved in the water system here at the church to gather the water off the roof, capture it in barrels, tap it off with a spigot. And just an hour ago, I talked to somebody over lunch, and they said this was really cool. And I never saw it that way. I saw it as a plumbing problem. You know? I really did. But I met a lot of people, we did a lot of work, we got sweaty and dirty. I've got 12 slides. I can go through almost all of them really quick. There's one area that's interesting. Here's the church. A few people there. Pastor Phillips, right in the middle. You'll see him in a moment. We gather water off the roof of the church. It rains, it falls in the gutter, it goes down the downspout, we capture it in a black tube, we run it underground to barrels, and then we have a faucet to tap it off when we need it. Now that's not very complicated. Do y'all understand that, right? There's the downspout from the eaves up above. There's the black tube that goes underground. It's about as a grapefruit will fit inside of it. It's about that big. There's the trench. We used a machine to dig the trench. And we had to go about 180 feet. That would be about twice the depth of this theater. And it had to be just a little bit different than level. So it would evacuate itself into the drums, which you'll see in a moment. I used a line level. A line level is about as big as a jackknife. It hooks on string. You pull the string tight, and you go up and down like this with a person on each end, and you tell them to go up, you tell them to go down, because the bottom of the trench has to be just off of level, a line level. You can buy them in any hardware store. That's me in the background being attacked by the big black flexible snake. It has to be flexible because your trench won't be straight. You have to bend this stuff. That's a key component that I had to invent to make this work. There it is again. I'm going to use this little red pointer. The black tube is on the left. The white tube, you can see those. This little thing right here, it's a circle of plywood I cut on my bandsaw. It fits inside the black tube exactly. I cut 2 holes in the plywood to receive the white tubes because the white tubes have to be gathered and organized in a permanent way as they go into the black tube. I'm trying to make a connection between unlike parts, and there's nothing on the market that can join 2 white tubes to a big black tube. There's nothing. That's that called non-sustainability, right? So I had to do this. Here's what we did. I think I have one more slide that maybe is, there I am. I'm pushing the white tubes into the black tube, and obviously you can see that when the water comes rushing down off the church roof, holy water, by the way, don't mess with that. it would run out of the black tube, and there's too many gaps right here. Oops, I went ahead. I didn't want to go ahead. The gaps would exist right there. What I did was I mixed up about a half a gallon of cement, and I worked it in between those two white tubes up into the black tube, and then I took it in my hands and I went down like that to the ground, so all the cement would fall down around that plywood ring. I staked it to a stake and went home and drank a beer. It was it was quick setting cement, so I could get back in the morning and it was set to go. It's there today. It's been there for 2 years. Now I have to continue with various and sundry plumbing fittings you get from big box people or small hardwares. They all have this stuff. There's the black tube on the right. The white tubes are cemented into it, and that little guy right there is a threaded gray plastic fitting that receives the black irrigation pipes. There's an elbow. This is really simple. Water runs downhill, you know. Next shot. Here we have a T fitting, black irrigation pipe, T fitting above and below. There are 2 openings in these barrels. That green fitting threads in. I'm feeding water off the church roof into these barrels at the top hole and the bottom hole, and then it continues for a total of 5. And on the left we have a coil of black irrigation tube that goes to a little pitcock or a spigot. So you get a lot of people out there, you pray for rain, it falls on the church roof, goes on the eaves, down the spout, through the tube, collects on all the barrels, turn it on, you got it. Pretty simple.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Pastor Jonathan Phillips, and I give leadership to the Love Fellowship Baptist Church. Again, as we have seen and heard in the video prior to, and as Paul has eloquently described the design of all that we've been able to do on the property, one of the things that we are excited about is that we've been able to not just become or wait on change, but be the change. We've been able to allow individuals to come to the garden and to participate and to grow organic foods and to work together within the community and do some things that they haven't had a privilege of doing before. And we're excited about all that we've been able to do in the course of the years that we've been able to do this, as far as canning and jarring. One of the things that we're excited about more than anything is the ability to allow neighbors to work together, to bond and to create lasting fellowships and work together with one another. One of the strengths of our program was the ability to be able to provide fresh fruit and produce to inbound seniors, straight from our garden to their doors. One of the things that we've all been affected by is the decline of the economic status of our country, affected Muskegon, which caused the leisure services to be closed down within our area. So we fostered relationships to build community by engaging our young people in activities, karate and some of our youth programs that we've offered, arts, hula hoop, not waiting on change, but being the change. Excited about participating in parades and festivals, allowing our children to be engaged in positive, active things. Be the change. Had the opportunity to partner with other local collaboratives within our community, such as the Volunteer Center of West Michigan, where their youth corps was able to partner with our children to provide mentoring programs such as what we did throughout the summer. Fruitport Lions Club, which allowed us also to connect and establish the Shoreline branch. Being the change. Partnering with Harmony Gardens to allow us the opportunity to have heirloom seeds, which were an exchange project that we worked to for sustainability. Be the change. Building our arbor will also allow us in sustainability in a 2-year time to be able to produce and reproduce seeding and opportunity to bring financial gain for all of us. Partner with students from Grand Valley, our young people, all summer, engaging in change. We're excited about what we've been able to do. The privilege of our summer festival, Dunk the Pastor, that's me in the bug. Our summer sledding and all other activities, our garden festival, engaging in activities throughout the community. So we're excited about what we've been able to do. We're grateful to TEDx and all of the sponsors and support that we've been able to get throughout the Love Community Garden. We ask that you will follow us on our Facebook page and click and like us. Picture of our garden with the church in the background with the water system that you can see. And we're not just waiting and making change happen. We've become the change. Thank you so much.